This video is going to be a little different. Kai and I are going to go head to head and cut round brilliance. I'm going to use a budget-friendly setup that uses a Vevor machine with the Turtles Horde Cutkit, and Kai's going to use my expensive setup. We'll see if experience or gear make a difference. Stick around to see how we do and hear my thoughts on the Cutkit.
Alright, so we're starting. This is the kickoff of noob versus pro. Doug being the pro, me being the noob. I get to cut on the fancy Ultratech machine, and Doug is cutting on our budget Vevor machine. So we're going for an 8.5 millimeter round brilliant stone, which we have a cut plan for, and we'll put up in the video. But the first thing of the day is to get this thing dopped. And so Doug handed me a 4 millimeter dops, 5 millimeter dops, 6 millimeter dops, and 8 millimeter dops.
You get everything, man.
I get all the options.
All the choice.
The only thing is I know absolutely nothing. So these options are more of a problem than you might think. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use some 5 millimeter dops, and I think that'll get us to where we need to be.
I've got this machine set up, ready to go. A couple things right off the bat that I think are worth mentioning. First is, this is the mast that comes with the Turtles Horde upgrade kit, and the way they have this nut and bolt set up is it took me a little bit to get this to actually tighten down. I had to lubricate the top and roughen up the bottom. I sent them a note about it, and I'll see what they say. If they've changed this, I'll let you know. The other thing is, this has an electric pump for water, and I think that's a silly setup. I think a drip setup is just better. There's less to go wrong with it, and it's not like you need powered water flow for faceting. Other than that, we ran the machine a little bit when we got it out, and it runs pretty well. The run out on the lap's really, really low, so that's good because that'll help with things. You have a beep on your machine that tells you exactly when to stop.
Yeah.
So this machine is like my old machine in that it's kind of tilted a little bit, or maybe the mast kind of goes up and down a little bit. So it's cutting out here, but not there. So what I can use is, I can use that as my witness mark. So I keep going to this spot, and then when it stops cutting there, then I know I've hit the right height, instead of a beep.
That's fancy. Not as fancy as a beep, but pretty ingenious. All right, time to start cutting. With Doug's setup, he doesn't have the cool water blocker, so he's getting soaked, and I'm over here living in luxury.
The reason I wanted to make this video was to highlight a few methods of entry into this hobby. I understand that this hobby has a very high cost of entry, so when I heard that Turtles Horde was working on a kit for a cheap machine, I knew I had to check it out.
So, the pro, Doug, is off to a great start. The amateur, not so much. There's no gemstone on this anymore. And we can see here that the glue is nicely intact. I think I'm going to rough it up a bit on some 100 grit laps, and then re-dop this up and try again tomorrow.
I think two things. Move to a bigger dop. I think also, I don't think it's actually the roughness. The other thing, if you remember, I handed you
old epoxy
that had been sitting out for a bit. I bet that's what it was.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
And old epoxy.
So you were sabotaged.
I was sabotaged by the pro. He's already playing dirty because he thinks he's gonna lose.
One of the cool things about this machine, I guess it's pretty cool, is you can take the quill right off. It makes inspection kind of nice because you can hold the stone in different directions, which you can't do on an Ultratech. It does make me a little concerned though, because repeatability is so important with making gemstones. This setup is based on a Vevor machine. It's interesting that this machine is not usable out of the box. It has a few significant flaws that make it unable to actually cut gemstones. The Turtles Horde Cutkit aims to fix these issues. This video will highlight a few of my thoughts about this setup and gauge if it's a good place for a beginner to start. Before I go any farther, I feel like I should tell you that they did send over this kit free of charge, but I bought the Vivor machine with my own gold. The machine plus the Cutkit are around $500. It will be a little harder to learn with this setup as opposed to something like an Ultratech V5 due to the Vivor being less repeatable, but this is expected considering there's over a 10x difference in price to get started. There's certainly not a better option at this price point to get started in faceting.
Pre-polish, this is 8,000 grit. This is a zinc lap instead of copper. I've never done this before, so Doug is going to walk me through how to
A little bit.
do this, and then I'm off to the races.
I'm gonna tell you this because we kind of have like a friendly competition going on. This is one of the most challenging parts, is getting the ratio of like polish,
Forbidden
and
lipstick.
oil.
Forbidden lipstick and oil ratio.
That's what it comes down
is
to.
difficult. Okay.
So you're gonna take a little bit of oil and rub the lap down with some oil.
So we're just gonna put a little bit of oil on there, and then we're going to hold on. Oh, that's not enough. And then we're gonna just touch it with the forbidden chapstick. Going inside out, and we'll just go bloop. Maybe that was not enough. I don't know. It's really hard to tell.
You see how there's like an oil residue around it?
Mm-hmm.
That means there's too much oil on this lap.
So we're just gonna put a little bit of oil on there. And that's not enough.
That means there's too much oil on this lap. This is one of the most challenging parts.
Forbidden lipstick and oil ratio
The
is
ratio of...
Oh, that is okay.
Kai lost a good bit of time going back and doing pre-polish. By that time, I was already at the transfer jig and flipping my stone over.
To make it look good, I think we're supposed to have a certain ratio of C to P based on this drawing, so I guess I kind of have to do that. Or I should do that. I don't have to, it'll just look bad. And I don't think we're in the business of making things that look bad.
No, certainly not. Okay, I have everything cut in. I'm gonna get out the table adapter and cut the table on this, so we will see how that goes. That's funny, I haven't done it that way before. The Ultratech's just, everything's accurate and you know what angles to take it to. But for this one, you have kind of like a targeting dot that you can use. The table is into this. It was a little tricky to polish. The polishing on copper was definitely probably the biggest challenge about using this machine compared to my other setup. It did work. I don't think the polish is as high of quality, but I think it's gonna look pretty good when I get it off of here. So I'll pop it off the dot and we'll take a look. Oh, fire.
That makes great YouTube content.
Yeah, burn the house down.
Polishing the crown facets, and the last thing we had to do is cut the table.
I think it's much better than mine.
No way.
Yeah.
I think your facets are nicer than mine. My bottom facets are trash.
They are. Kai and I set off to bring our gemstones to other facetors to see who cut the best gem.
I'm Catherine Harrison. I've been fasting on and off for 20 years, but mostly off. And I consider myself a advanced beginner.
Okay, so one of these was cut with a very inexpensive setup, and the other was cut with an expensive setup. And the one on the inexpensive setup was cut by me, and the other was cut by Kai.
I think the pink stone's more sparkly.
My name's Jeff Ronimus. I've been fasting for a little over 16 years. All right. Green was cut by Doug, pink one was cut by Kai.
Okay, I'm Reg Williams, and I've been faceting since 2012. And let me take a look at these babies. That's a tough call because they're both well done.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of amazing in terms of how well they've been cut. I'm amazed that on a cheap machine that you could get that good either one of these. The green might have been done on the Ultratech, and the pink was done on the cheap machine. But that's a pure guess.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher, and I've been faceting for about 3 years. Hard telling it. Well, they're both really good. I think maybe the pink one is the better one.
It seems like it could go either way, but who do you think cut the better stone?